5 on 20 News with Mike Esham
and Edgar Zotov.
Coming to you live from our studio in downtown Tucson. It's Thursday, August 3rd. Let's talk local headlines.
Arizona casino franchise Gia River Gaming Enterprises is planning to give unclaimed jackpots to local nonprofits. The nonprofit groups must apply in order to receive a share of funds. The exact dollar amounts were not revealed because the company is in its final fiscal quarter and the totals haven't been calculated yet. All Arizona-based nonprofits with a 501c3 status are eligible to apply. They must send a letter of consideration, a 501c3 letter from the IRS, a W-9 tax form, and any other information that should be considered. The deadline to submit is August 18th. If you're interested and eligible, then contact Gia River Gaming Enterprises Community Liaison Manuel Hernandez at the manuel.hernandez at wingiariver.com or by phone at 1-800-946-4452, extension 7347. And if you decided to gamble away your winnings, remember to always bet on red.
Monsoon storms have been blamed for a rise in asthma attacks in Arizona in recent weeks. Kimberly Byrne of Cardin Children's Medical Center said that the monsoon winds stir up irritants that can make it difficult for asthmatics to breathe. This includes mold, grass, and pollen, which have increased because they break into smaller pieces in the air during a storm. Byrne said that children tend to be more affected than adults by the storm because children breathe faster. She said that the monsoons can also affect children who haven't shown asthma symptoms for some time. She's warning parents to keep a close eye on their children to see if any symptoms such as coughing, wheezing, or breathing faster occur. Children can be affected by the monsoons for up to 5 days following the storms as the pollen counts remain high. According to an official statement, Mother Earth denied being responsible for the asthma attacks and warned the U.S. to stop releasing so much CO2 into the air.
Arizona Representative Raul Grijalva condemned the Trump administration's decision to suspend all environmental rules to build a big, beautiful, wonderful wall. The administration announced a decision on Tuesday, raising the air of environmental groups who say that endangered species migratory patterns cross over the border. A recent study by the Center for Biological Diversity found that there are over 90 species, including the Quino checker spot butterfly, located near the San Diego sector, where the rules are to be suspended. Grijalva said that these are just minor regulatory requirements the department is looking to skirt. Rather, he said they are monumental protections that have been essential to preserving our country's natural heritage and safeguarding public health. He pointed out that Homeland Security's mission statement states that they will safeguard the American people, our homeland, and our values. But Grijalva says that nothing falls farther from this mission than their actions in waiving numerous environmental laws in an attempt to build Trump's border wall. But Arizona Representative Paul Gosar praised the announcement, arguing that the border wall is exactly what the country needs. Gosar said that the checker-spotted butterfly needs to get in the back of the line, just like his grandparents did, and enter the U.S. legally. In response to Gosar's statement, a group of checker-spotted butterflies ate their larvae in protest.
A Phoenix area program for homeless veterans may lose $500,000 in federal funding. Central Arizona Shelter Services, or CAS, operates out of Phoenix's largest shelter for single adults. CAS has received the government grant of $500,000 for about a decade, according to CEO Mark Hollernan. But he says that he learned from a recent phone call from the VA that the organization would no longer receive the grant. However, a VA spokesman said this year's grantees for homelessness funding have not yet received official notification. But the spokesman said that the agency wants to focus on more long-term housing rather than homeless shelters such as CAS, which houses 556 veterans currently. CAS says that it has no immediate backup plans if the funding is cut. Their contract with the VA ends September 30th. In the meantime, they've partnered with Domestic Representative Mark Cardenas of Phoenix, who agreed on Tuesday to advocate for the program.
Now, national and international news. Wells Fargo's in trouble again. Or maybe we could say car crash. The bank is catching heat for signing up 490,000 customers for car insurance that they didn't need. Customers say that they had no idea they were being charged for the insurance. Wells Fargo acknowledged that many of their customers ended up in default because of their insurance charges, and some even had their cars repossessed. The bank issued a statement promising that they would correct the errors, although this didn't involve fixing customers' credit scores, many of which were damaged due to the defaults. The scandal comes less than a year after another Wells Fargo scandal, where the bank was caught opening millions of unwanted accounts for customers. Wells Fargo said that this was not a case of trying to improperly profit off of customers, but rather a mistake in the company's processes and internal controls. But consumer advocates say that the situation shows that the bank still has serious systematic problems that haven't been addressed. Ira Reingold of the National Association of Consumer Advocates said that the bank was again slow in fixing the mistake that customers were complaining about, which was also the case for the bank account scandal from a year ago. Wells Fargo says that it's setting aside $80 million to repay customers, and says that customers will start getting letters and refund checks later this month. These letters will consist of bank envelopes with a handful of lawn clippings and be sent three times per day.
Game over.
Montreal is temporarily opening its Olympic Stadium to accommodate a flow of asylum seekers arriving from the U.S. Over 4,300 people have poured over the Canadian border seeking refugee status since January, with the majority ending up in the province of Quebec. On Wednesday morning, these migrants were moved into Olympic Stadium, one of Montreal's best-known landmarks. Officials say that another 1,200 immigrants arrived in the month of July, most coming from Haiti, and that the numbers are unprecedented. Because of the rush, Quebec authorities are scrambling to find beds and other resources to help the migrants. The provinces of Manitoba and British Columbia have also seen an uptick in asylum seekers, many of whom are apprehended by Mountie police. Once in custody, the migrants are identified, searched, and screened. If they are eligible for asylum, they are allowed entry and referred to the Immigration and Refugee Board of Canada. You know, like the humane thing to do. Remember that?
Announced plans for new immigration laws that limit the total number of immigrants let into the country. The proposal would also prioritize these immigrants who could speak English or are well educated. Because who wants to deal with the inconvenience of having to slowly shout your answer at someone when you can just patronize them in fluent English? It would also cap the number of refugees each year to 50,000 and eliminate the diversity visa lottery. This allocates 50,000 visas a year to residents of countries that don't have high numbers of immigrants in the U.S. Republican Senator Tom Cotton, one of the sponsors of the Reforming American Immigration for Strong Employment, or RAISE Act, said that if passed, legislation would reduce the number of legal immigrants by 41% in its first year and 50% over a decade. Cotton said that the current immigration system is not committed to working class Americans. Despite high-profile support by the president, the bill will be a hard sell in Congress. While illegal immigration has been a focal point for Republican criticism, legal immigration is a different matter. Pro-business Republicans favor visa programs that provide easy access to workers, which the RAISE Act might complicate. Senator Lindsey Graham said that the legislation would be devastating to South Carolina's economy, which relies on an immigrant workforce. Minority Leader Senator Chuck Schumer agreed with Graham, saying that legal immigration helps create jobs and that the legislation is a non-starter with Democrats. It also relies on a merit-based point system. This system is influenced by the immigration systems of Canada and Australia, who partially use a point system for some skilled immigrants. However, the RAISE Act would virtually turn our entire immigration system into a competition. The point system works by awarding higher points to those with advanced degrees, those who are young, and those who have high levels of English fluency. Which is odd since our president hasn't mastered the language yet. The system also awards extra points for those who have received awards such as the Nobel Prize and those who have won medals in the Olympics. It also adds points for those named Donald Jr. or Eric, but takes away points for those named Tiffany, and deducts a third of a point for immigrants with split ends or a high number of facial blemishes.
In related news, in a surprisingly ballsy move that is in no way a desperate attempt to cater to voters in his home state, Senator Jeff Flake of Arizona said Thursday that the portion of the RAISE Act that cuts the number of legal immigrants into the U.S. every year in half would be bad for the economy. He also said that not only was the number drastic, but that migrant labor is necessary for the economy. He said, quote, "We know very well in Arizona the value of migrant labor," he said. "I grew up working next to migrant labor, and I've always felt that they were making migrant labor better, and we're better off because of their hard work." This is the latest in a series of criticisms of White House policy by Flake, whom the president is hoping to see unseated by a primary challenger. Currently, Senator Flake's only official primary opponent is Kelly Ward, who lost a primary challenge against Senator John McCain in 2016. Ward recently showed some real humility when she suggested McCain step down following news of his cancer diagnosis, before suggesting herself as a possible appointee to his seat. Classy.
In case you missed a NASA Craigslist ad headlined, if you've always dreamed of helping keep Earth safe from alien invaders, your ship is now boarding. Fear not, Tucson. We've got you covered. NASA has announced that they're looking for a planetary protection officer. This person would head the agency's efforts to keep their spacecrafts and astronauts from contaminating other worlds with unwanted life forms. Officials at NASA have always stressed that keeping the Earth clean from alien microbes is their highest priority. Needless to say, this job qualifies for hazard pay. The reported salary is roughly $124,406 to $187,000. And I'm willing to bet you will have to work for every penny of it, since the agency is scheduled to launch a Europa flyby mission in 2020. And Congress has instructed NASA to put a lander down on the moon's icy surface as well. This position has been around for some time. Recently, Cassie Connolly has been acting as NASA Planetary Protection Officer for the past, which has been doing for the past several years. The new opening for the job is a result of relocating the position to NASA's Office of Safety and Mission Assurance. But these plans stirred heavy debate amongst the spaceflight community, with exploration advocates expressing their concerns that planetary protection may stall efforts to fully explore and pollute whatever planet we want. If you're still interested, you have until August 14th to apply. You can do so at usajobs.gov. Good luck.
Oh, I am woefully unqualified, but I want that job. A recent report by the Harvard School of Public Health shows that carbon dioxide may rob crops of essential nutrients. Samuel Myers, lead author of the study, conducted another study in 2014 that found the nutritional effect from CO2. This time, Myers looked at 225 foods for 152 different countries and analyzed the nutritional content. The database allowed Myers' team to calculate how these nutritional changes would affect different countries around the world through 2050. One of these studies found that 150 million people are at risk of protein deficiency by 2050. Another study found that the available dietary supply of iron could decrease in some high-risk regions. This is especially true in countries that consume large amounts of rice and wheat, which are low in protein but often used as a primary source of protein. According to Myers' database, 18 countries in Asia and Africa may lose more than 5% of their dietary protein. These countries include India, Bangladesh, Turkey, Egypt, Iraq, and Iran. Protein deficiency has been linked with low birth weight, growth issues, and a decrease in overall health and well-being. This could hit India especially hard, as the country already has one of the worst rates of malnutrition in the world. The study predicts that about 53 million people in India will be at risk for protein deficiency by 2050. The one piece of positive information is that legumes are generally resistant to the loss of nutrition caused by CO2 levels, proving conclusively that beans really are the magical fruit. Well, this is 5 on 20 News with Mike Esham
and Edgar Zotov.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook accounts for all the latest Creative Tucson content. Feel free to bother us at creativetucson.org/info and tune in later at 6:30 for Zona Politics Live with Jim Nitzel. Thanks for hanging out with us. Stay creative, Tucson.